I wanted to make this video to introduce myself to you here and just basically connect some dots, because I'm sure that if you have seen my application for the sales role, if that's come to you, or maybe it hasn't but it's about to, then what I wanted to do was really just kind of communicate a little bit more beyond the initial process as far as what kind of value that I think I can bring to the Flow Research Collective, to your personal mission as far as growing that business and bringing that mission into the world. And I think there's a huge alignment. I think that there's a couple of things that are really, really useful based on my background that are going to be super powerful in this role. So the first thing is obviously that I want to connect up here is that the sale of this type of program is a very unique sale, right? So it's selling probably the most intangible thing that you can sell. This whole idea of not just productivity, but actually flow and bringing people to a new version of themselves is one of the most intangible sales around. And over the last 5 years, that's something that from my coaching background and from running a performance coaching business, that conversation has been something that I've had to dive into again and again and again and again to really figure out how do you have that conversation with someone in a way that helps them go to that next level, that helps them transform. And so that's something that I've become very proficient in, and something that I've become very interested in as well, you could say, because that conversation isn't just about the conversation about intangibility. It's also a transformational conversation. It's really an invitation for people. So I'll talk about that in a second. The other thing is that, working specifically with world-class people, that's obviously the focus and the core focus for the Flow Research Collective. And that's also the core focus that I've been focused on in my own business, has been working with people who are at 7 figures, working with people who are at 8 figures, people who want to build the big shit and who want to go out and need to essentially do the impossible in order to do it. And so that's been a huge mastery to understand, how do you have a conversation with somebody with that level of intention, with that level of potency, with that level of commitment, that they're really showing up to go after that? What does that look like to do that, and how do you have that conversation? So that's been a big focus. And so I think there's a unique conversation that happens when you're having that versus, for example, somebody that is a fitness goal or something else that they're trying to do, which maybe isn't as big. Going into the impossible is a big deal for people. And so having that conversation with mastery is really important. As well, that transformational conversation is very much about shifting their identity. And so the identity level transformation in terms of conversation is something I've been very passionate about, again, over the last sort of 5 or 6 years, even before that. And I think it's a very important and powerful opportunity for someone to change. And so that's really what that conversation is about from my perspective, is creating that desire and drive to the point where there's nothing else they can do but take that next step, because they know it's heading them towards they want to go in their future. And I think that critical player, being that critical player to help that happen and set them up as they get invited into the environment, is very important. So those things really match together. Those things really align with both my experience and also my passion in terms of helping people transform. And I see it as an opportunity for me to bring all that value to Flow Research Collective, where you guys are doing that world-class work. Now, interestingly, you and I actually have a few commonalities. I see you've actually had a head injury when you were younger as well. Mine wasn't as cool. I was in a drinking accident with a German guy who picked me up to give me a hug, not trying to do a backflip out of a pool, but I did do a back flip technically onto my back. And so I also have experienced the challenges of a head injury, and that's sort of partly what got me interested in the mind, I suppose, at that time, which led to where I am now. So there's been some interesting kind of parallels there, and I think we have a lot of passions and interests in common. I think we'll get along really well. I think we're going to connect very well around your mission and what you're looking to do with Flow Research Collective moving forward. So really looking forward to having a conversation. I wanted to send this over again because obviously within the scope of application there's a certain limit. So I wanted to kind of introduce myself in this way. And I can't wait to have a conversation with you, whether it's going to be 5, 10 minutes, 30 minutes. I think we're going to kick it off pretty well, and we're going to have a lot to talk about. So looking forward to having that opportunity, man, and I can't wait to do that. Looking forward to talking to you soon. I hope you had a great New Year's and a great holiday and ready to kick it back into 2021. It's going to be a doozy of a year. A lot of people are going to need some support. So over to you, man. I'll look forward to talking to you soon. Great to be connected, and take care.